Nicole Shanahan was on with Chris Cuomo on, what is that? News Nation? I think that's right. News Nation. To talk about it, because she doesn't want her and RFK Jr.'s efforts to get Trump elected to be confused as them being Trump supporters. And she's not being mean about this. I thought what she said was very interesting because it explains how differently she and Bobby have been treated by the Trump campaign compared to Kamala and to the entire Democrat machine.
You know, let's be clear. The power of a third party, an independent movement, is to endorse ideas, not people. I'm not a Kamala Democrat, nor am I a Trump Republican. What I am is an independent American focused, laser focused on the issues. What we did on Friday was amazing because we crossed the chasm. We found somebody who was willing to put these ideas on center stage. Millions of people, for the first time, heard Bobby's voice. Millions of people were starting to acknowledge how big of an issue the chronic health disease crisis is in this country. This is not a fringe issue anymore. Bobby is not a fringe person, as he's been mired by the MSM. He is front and center, focusing on what Americans care about most, and he had almost 30,000 people on stage on Friday shouting his name. And, you know, President Trump, to his credit, put out a hand, shook his hand and said, let's do this. Let's engage on ideas that matter. Let's engage on policies that matter. We don't have to agree on everything. This is not us being absorbed into the Trump camp by any measure. This is a partnership. This is a meeting of the minds with strong boundaries and expectations.
I believe her.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. They don't want to be, it's not, we shouldn't assume that they're like, woo, Trump 100%, because they do disagree with him on a lot of things. But the fact that Trump listens and cares about hearing them and understands that there are lots of RFK Jr. supporters out there that have concerns about those same things, that says a lot about Trump.
Yeah. And conversely, Trump and Trump voters disagree with these people about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it does say a lot about Trump, and it says a lot about Trump voters. It says a lot about us on our side because we're open-minded and we're willing to look at other points of view, and we're not just freaking deep state weirdo commies that are like, oh, you don't agree with me, I need to cancel you. And that's what those people do. And that's not American, you guys. It's just simply not. That's like third world country crap that I'm unwilling to engage in. You need to look at other points of view and go, okay, I may not agree with you, but if it's for the better of the country, if it's going to help children, then why wouldn't you entertain it? Why wouldn't you entertain that idea? I genuinely believe that RFK wants to help children. I really do believe that. I do. And so why would you try to squelch that? Why would you do that? I've got children. I've got a grandchild. Why would I want him to go away? Because I mean, he wants to help me too. He wants to help people's health. I think
their freedom of expression, which is also just another huge, huge thing for him, which is so important because he knows firsthand what it means to be censored.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
There's more lawsuits and more shenanigans to come. But first we have to remind you about how much we love dogs.
Oh my gosh, the dogs. Oh my gosh, and they're great.
My dogs are so happy that I'm back from DC because I know Ron was not giving them this.
Neither was Greg.
One more step and he just won't do it.
They just dump the food in the bowls. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. And I care. I want my girls to have their rough greens. This is the formulation. This is the nutritional supplement for dogs that was developed by Dr. Black, Dr. Naturopathic, Dr. Dennis Black. He's the founder of Rough Greens, and he has created this green health powder concoction, which has all the vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, probiotics, omega oils, everything that your dog needs to turn their brown dead kibble and bring it to life with this green health powder that dogs love. They love it. It's like a dressing for their food. It's
the gravy.
Yeah, it's the gravy for their food. They absolutely
Mhm.
love it, and it is so good for them. You know this based on the thousands of testimonials that we've seen that are on their website too, of people who had dogs with all kinds of different issues, whether it was a lack of energy, their coat was looking dull, their breath was bad, whatever the issue. Rough Greens, you're going to see a difference in your dog with Rough Greens. I credit this partially to my dog's longevity. I mean, Ella is 15 plus. Maisie's 10. I mean, I got old dogs and they don't act old. Like they act like new dogs.
Mhm.
Puppies, I should say, not
New
new
dogs.
dogs.
They're new. Mhm.
And if you want to see if your dog likes it, the great news is that you can get this free Jumpstart trial bag by just going to roughchicks.com. That's RUFF chicks.com. It's roughchicks.com. You see what I did there?
Dogs, I do.
Oh my gosh, so many dogs.
So fluffy.
Also, here's something hopeful. I know we talked a lot earlier in the show about how dumb Democrats can be, especially those who are like, I'm voting Kamala because she's black and lady. There are a few Democrats who are smart enough to understand how dangerous Democrats as a party, the Democrat Party, has become. One of those is Brett Weinstein.
Absolutely. Let me just be perfectly clear about this. I think the modern Democratic Party is an existential threat to the Republic. And although I am a Democrat, I've been a Democrat my whole life, the party that I see in front of me today is literally the inverse of the party I signed up for. This is now the party of war. This is the party of racism. This is the party of censorship. I don't recognize this party. There is no conceivable scenario in which I would vote for Kamala Harris. I just simply will not do it. Am I open to voting for Trump? I am. I'm especially open to it if he is partnered with Bobby Kennedy, because what that tells me is that my values, which are a much closer match for Bobby's, are represented in that administration. And that's really what I want. I want a coalition to redefine American politics because, frankly, we have a long-standing problem with corruption, which has now turned into something else with the modern Democratic Party. But we need to rethink the way we govern ourselves so that corruption is not the dominant force. And a coalition is the way we're going to do that.
That's really interesting. He needs to speak to people like Bill Maher,
Yeah.
who I think is an example of a Democrat who sees the corruption. He sees all the things that this guy sees, but he still will only vote Democrat. He will just blindly vote. He'll blindly vote for Kamala still. Like he's even said it in interviews. He's like, doesn't matter if they put Biden up there and Biden can't speak, I'm still going to vote for him. Even though he sees all the things that guy sees, the corruption, the communism, all of it, he'll still vote. And that, I don't understand people like that. It's like, you're smart enough to see it. Why are you still going to vote for it? I don't like, what is wrong with you? That, and then they'll turn around and be like, those Trump people are in a cult.
Right.
What? Because you just admitted that you're basically in a cult because you're unwilling to step outside of your compartmentalized little box. Step outside of it, because you're not voting for what's best for the country. You're staying inside of a cult.